Today we're talking about the number one question we get from every single homeowner we do projects for. What is my deck going to cost? So today what we're going to do is we're going to look at 5 to 6 projects that we've done, show the image of it, talk about some of the costs that were involved with that project, and with this information you should be able to get a pretty good idea of what your deck project is going to cost you. This project here is going to be in the $5,000 to $10,000 range. Lower end as far as the deck projects we do. It's typically going to be 100 to 200 square feet, probably seen right outside your back door, maybe covering your old battered concrete slab. More of a simple shape, but the biggest reason that this project is going to be in the $5,000 to $10,000 range and not higher is the fact that you're only 6 to 8 inches off the ground. What this means is you don't need additional stairs to come off of it. Also, you don't need any handrail. Handrails can be a larger chunk of your project, and when you're only 6 to 8 inches off the ground, that's not required, and a lot of times homeowners don't want that. This deck right here is going to cost in the $18,000 to $25,000 range. And we're talking about just this square down here, down lower. This one is 1 to 3 feet off the ground. So you're going to have 1 step, maybe 2 steps off of it. You're kind of in that height range where you don't need, or maybe you don't want, any railing. So something like this, there's obviously a lot of things that you can do. In this case, we added lights. We added taller posts for string lights. You can take the price and go up, but if you're talking just a simple deck in the 400 to 600 square foot range, you're probably looking at between $18,000 to $25,000. So this is a very common build here in the Pacific Northwest. A 2-story home, and the customer wants to extend their outdoor living space. For probably around $30,000 to $40,000, you're gonna get something like this. You've got a very large, very usable space. In this case, very multi-use. You can dine on here, you can lounge on here. But when we're about 8 feet off the ground, you're now introducing a railing. So we've got glass railing surrounding, and then we've also got access to the ground over here. So you've got a stair down to a landing, and then from the landing down to the ground. So these next few decks that we're going to talk about, these are going to be $80,000 on up. This is where the range gets big because we're getting quite a bit bigger with square footage, a lot more detail, heights are a lot higher, so on. In this image here, we're looking at a deck that's approximately 16 feet off the ground. So what that height does is it requires, probably some engineering, some permitting, larger footings, a lot of stuff that you don't actually see. Also, we've got a huge footprint. So this is well over 1,000 square feet. You've got the princess deck up here for the upper room. You've got the main deck for, your outdoor living. And then you've got a pretty large staircase down to the ground. So this is approximately 6 feet wide, huge landing here to transition down to the ground. And this one here, again, you're in the $80,000 on up range. This one you've got multi-levels, and so this deck right here, it's a pretty large deck for this upper room. The thing that you don't see in this picture is that it's all waterproof. So underneath this deck, this customer has a huge outdoor living area that is rain-free. So in the Pacific Northwest, that's a pretty big deal because it rains a lot here. Underneath this deck, it's decked out with some awesome soffit lighting. And then you've got the large main deck. This deck, you are going to be able to do everything on it. You can dine on this deck, you can lounge on this deck, you can cook on this deck. There is room for everything. And over here in this area, you can see there's also a hot tub that we've added into the deck. So lots of features, huge footprint, lots of railing. Again, $80,000 on up. This one here, decked out with features. Not only is the deck a really, really large footprint, but it has everything you could think of packed into this awesome outdoor living space. We'll start with the big, large footprint down here. This footprint is going to give you room to use the hot tub, use the built-in fire pit, use the outdoor kitchen. Plenty of space for a lot of people. Also, you have an upper deck here. This deck is waterproofed. You can have this under space be completely dry all year round. And this customer opted for a spiral staircase. The beauty with the spiral staircase is it takes up a lot less room. Also on this large project, we've got this super cool skirting. This is all stone. It enables the customer to be able to store things underneath this deck, things like sleds and seasonal items that can get some weather, but that you don't want cluttering up your garage space. So hopefully these images and ranges helped. Just know that we're one click away. Jump on our website, fill out the form. If you're not exactly sure where you land in this range, give us the details. We're more than happy to give you the pricing. We're 100% transparent with our pricing. We have nothing to hide here, and we want you to have a space that you love on your own.